This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
Look, I know that I told you to write in if you were a naked pooper or if you knew someone who was.
Yay.
I am so fucking excited right now.
I almost didn't pull this up to read because I was like, I feel like our listeners need a break. I think we went in pretty hard on the last episode.
Yeah, that was a lot.
And I have to believe that there are listeners out there who are not into it.
Yeah.
Who are just like, if I hear one more poop story, I am turning this off and never turning it back on again. And to you, I say, skip ahead to the fuck, marry, kill. Just go ahead and skip this whole front part because we did have somebody write in.
This is like to me
a must share,
a mystery. This is like the Voinovich manuscript. This is Roanoke level,
right? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is what happened to Amelia Earhart.
Yeah.
Why do some people poop naked? I'm so ready for this.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna leave this person anonymous because you deserve that.
Yeah.
Thank you for being so brave as to write in and tell your truth. So it says, I just got done listening to the latest episode and I heard that you wanted to know why people like to poop naked. And I knew I had to write in.
You had to. I'm so glad.
Not me, but my boyfriend is a naked pooper. And it has baffled me since we started living together. He says it's just comfortable for him, and he never. This is what gets me. Okay, we're going to discuss. Okay. He never knows what kind of poop he's going to have, and how much effort it's going to take. So he doesn't want to get all sweaty in his clothes.
Okay.
And if he needs to, he can just jump into the shower afterwards. LOL. I hope this gives you more insight.
That's valid.
I would be too cold doing that. She says.
This is a valid concern. I can see the sweat thing. Like if you're just like, this is going to be here's what I don't understand. I need, because this is a question. Men take forever in the bathroom, and I understand that half of the time it's just
really
scrolling on the toilet or whatever. But I'm like, go when you actually have to go.
It's so weird to me.
Why don't you just wait until you have to poop?
It takes so long.
What the fuck is wrong with you? And you guess what? You probably won't sweat because you didn't.
It'll happen naturally. Like, why are you straining?
Why
like
are
that?
you forcing it?
That's how much effort it's going to take. Like, that's kind of the thing, is because, look, I'm not shaming anybody. I know bodies are weird. I know that everybody's body is different. If I'm getting super sweaty, I probably have food poisoning.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm
sick.
I'm not saying it's never happened. But I'm just like, if it's happening, I'm unwell. Like, it's not like I'm like, that's a regular occurrence.
Yeah.
You know? And if that's the case, like if you feel like
listen, and sometimes poops take extra effort. I'm not not to poop shame anybody.
Absolutely
but
not.
I do wonder sometimes. I ask my
every
husband
time
sometimes,
you have to get
I'm
naked?
like, no, okay, wait.
Every time?
I know. Yeah, no. I think that I'm just saying like plan your poop. I think that's the problem. They're like planning it too far in advance. They're like, I poop at this time. So they're all
hell or high water.
I'll be in there. You're like 3 hours later. I'm like, I have to poop. Naturally, my body actually has to let it come out now.
Yes.
You could wrap it up.
I will also tell you this, and this might be too much information, but like
compared to what we've just said.
I know. But my new building at work, the new building that they built, there are the regular bathrooms, which is what I use most of the time.
Sure.
But then
there's the poop bathroom.
There's like the individuals.
That's right.
And I'm like, wow.
The family poop bathroom.
The height of luxury. Luxury is in my DNA.
Yes. Yes.
As Kevin Costner's ex-wife would say.
And is now my answer to everything.
Yeah.
Luxury is
in my DNA.
When I pay for parking instead of street parking, it's because luxury is in my DNA.
Yeah. So for people who don't know what we're talking about, Kevin Costner's wife is asking for like, and normally I would be like, get your bag, but this feels, she's asking for something like $160,000 a month or something crazy for child support. And her lawyer argued that luxury is in the children's DNA. So they need that money. They need all of it. Yeah.
I want to see the gene splicing or the gene, like whatever that shows that.
Can I get some of that DNA? Because I did my ancestry and I didn't even see it as an option.
Right? It didn't come up on mine.
It wasn't a category.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I assumed, obviously, that it would be in there.
Truly. I mean, I think of the three of us at this table, if anyone has luxury in their DNA,
really?
it's you.
It's you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Like,
I mean, listen, I'm not going to say
Belgium
it's not.
just sounds fancy.
Yeah. I mean,
Bitch is Belgian. Whatever. It
sounds money. Yeah.
It sounds fake.
Yeah.
It does sound like I made that up. I did. I promise.
And we have one Belgian listener that's just like, well, this is over.
Oh, no.
No, that's a compliment.
Stay for me.
That's a huge compliment. You sound so fancy as to not be real.
Ooh, where are you from? Belgium? Doesn't even exist.
Well, I want to thank that listener for writing in. Thank you so much.
It's amazing.
We needed to know. I still
have questions.
I still have questions as well. I mean, I just feel, first of all, maybe you can ask him and come back to us with some follow-ups.
We'll follow up.
Because what do you do in public? What do you do in public? I mean, do you just make an exception? I imagine. There's no way you're getting fully nude. Even in the individual stall at work, that's too far.
It's too far. My husband, I did ask him because he will occasionally also shit nude, but mostly it's because the man never does actually wear a shirt in the house.
And he's getting ready to get in the shower probably,
or he's
or
getting
something.
ready to get in the shower in the
That
morning.
is different.
But he was like, absolutely not in like a public place. I would never take my shirt off.
Feel so vulnerable.
He also said he has never seen somebody do the full trowel drop.
Oh,
for and he goes, I hope I never do.
I said as well.
He's like, I have never seen that happen in public, and I swear to God, I hope I never do.
Those people have to use individual stalls. Like, they have to.
It's a urinal thing. Like, I mean, can you imagine you're standing in a urinal and you're just somebody's ass
No,
out?
they have to be in a stall.
Eric demonstrated it
No,
for
he
me when
didn't.
I came
No.
home, and it was the funniest thing. I literally was like crying, laughing, because not only that, he like tucked his shirt under his
That's not a thing.
No,
like a toddler.
swear.
Yes, yeah.
Looking like a toddler.
Full
And
on.
your bathroom has that full-length mirror too, which is just like, oh no.
No.
I don't need to.
No,
we're
not doing this, even as a joke.
We're done. We're done here.
There's things we can't cross lines. We can't cross.
Oh Lord. Okay. Well, there are some weeks where I really watch no TV at all. Mm-hmm. And then there are some weeks where I am literally just me and the couch become one.
Yes.
When two become one.
Exactly.
It's me and the couch, And so I watched
My
a lot of
favorite Spice Girls
things.
song.
Yes. I went down, by the way, just off subject. I went down Spice Girl TikTok recently.
Wow.
It was a lovely place to be. I was so happy.
I have not found that magical land.
I was so cozy.
joyful.
But I finally watched, and I don't know what prompted this. Like, I was just scrolling on Max, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to watch that. And I watched that Price of Glee.
I can't. I want to see it so bad. Don't tell me anything. Don't tell me anything.
Okay, I mean,
like, tell me loosely, but don't tell me anything. I want to see it
tell me
so
nothing,
bad.
but tell me a little bit.
Yeah.
So
no spoilers.
It's the only thing that I will say is it's not just the cast. Like, I didn't realize... And I should have, like, as a musical theater person, as somebody who loved Glee whenever it was on those first couple
Big Glee
seasons,
head.
like, I was in theater actively, like, whenever I was watching Glee.
Loved Glee.
I don't know why it didn't occur to me how hard they were working these kids.
Oh, yeah.
Like, because it's not like a normal TV show. So it's like they are in rehearsal, they're in dance class, they're in singing lessons. And then when they're not shooting,
They're
had
recording.
and they had that tour.
Oh my God, that's
So they were
right.
on tour the whole time. So they didn't get a break
And
at
wait
all.
a tick, like none of these people are actually under the age of 18, right? So you don't have any. There's no like rules about like
I know at least the main
minimum.
ones weren't
Yeah.
because like both like Corey Monteith and the guy who played Puck, they were both like 26. So yeah, I mean, so they were working all the time, and it got me thinking because Amber Riley, who played Mercedes on that show, she used to live in this neighborhood because I ran into her several times. And I ran into her at Party City once, and I ran into her at Ralph's. And I remember the first time I ran into her at Ralph's, because I was a big Glee fan, I will never forget the look on her face because she was like picking avocados or something. And like I did a little bit of a double take because I recognized
like,
her.
no.
And the look on her face, it wasn't mean or anything. It was just like, oh my God, please don't. Like, please don't come over here. Just like, and I get it because these kids were so swamped and they were so overworked all the time. And all of them were unknowns except for Leah Michelle in the beginning. So like they were they went from 0 to 100. And so it was really tough on them, but it was also really tough for the whole crew.
Of
so
course.
it wasn't just the cast, but there's shit that went down within the crew as well, which I was just like, God. But all that to say, it prompted me, and maybe it's bad, but it prompted me to rewatch the show because it's on Disney Plus.
God.
So I'm like, I'm going to rewatch this show because I remember really liking the first couple seasons.
Yeah.
There is shit on that show that first of all, in like episode 2, Matthew Morrison, who plays Will Schuester, does Kanye West Gold Digger.
Yeah, dude. The very
wait, what?
The very first
not
season,
remember
horrible.
The very first season is actually like has like a kind of dark humor to it. It's not poppy. It was like quirky and really weird and a little bit dark.
It's so weird, and like that character is so so creepy and bizarre. Like
he's so weird.
He's so weird, and I didn't see it.
TV teachers are the fucking weirdest.
Was 2009 just such a weird time that it did not occur to me that like that is the creepiest teacher I've ever seen in my whole life. Like he's so fucking creepy.
I think we thought. Well, I think that we thought he was cute.
Yeah, we thought he was hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the same thing that happened in Never Been Kissed because we forgave a lot of shit in Never Been Kissed. Yeah. And that was predatory. That guy, but he was so hot.
Yeah.
We were like, it's fine.
I'm like, oh, it's okay to date your teacher.
Come out in 2009
and we're all like, she's 25. It's fine.
It's fine. Even if he thinks that she's
16 or 17 or whatever it was. But I was thinking we should fuck, marry, kill TV teachers.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I first of all have to look up and see if Never Been Kissed is 2009.
That had to be late 90s, early 2000s.
You think so? 1999. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Okay, TV teachers. I'm trying to think
Michael
of one
that's right.
Specifically TV.
Oh, it says TV.
Well, it doesn't have to be TV, I guess.
Dude, I've got
teachers in the media.
I've got one. This is a blast from the past. This will definitely age me and also kind of guilty pleasure.
Okay.
Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
I didn't either. We're the only two people on planet Earth. But you know what? Show me his picture and I bet you I know who it is.
Yeah. I had such a crush on him. I don't know the actor's name.
I see. He's got real. That was the 90s when dads were dads.
You know what I mean? He looks like to me. He kind of reminds me of the ballet dancer.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Gorbachev. Yes, Mikhail Gorbachev, the famous.
He was on Sex and the City. I can't think of his name.
Yes.
Why can't I think of his name?
The Russian from Sex and the City. They call him
Baryshnikov.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's really close.
Yes, he does remind me of him. There was a real time, and this guy I feel like is the perfect example of it. I don't know the actor's name, but
it's the gel in the hair for me.
He's such a like dad energy.
It's giving Seventh Heaven.
Yes. Oh my God.
Woof.
Ew. Ew. Okay, well, you know what? I'm gonna go Walter White.
I knew it.
I'm going Walter White. I'm going Bryan Cranston.
I want to pick a teacher that's not from.
Don't have to pick TV.
I'm going to do Dead Poet Society.
Okay. Robin Williams in Dead Poet Society. Yeah. Okay. So he was an English teacher.
Yes.
Walter White is a chemistry teacher. Do we know what Buffy
Giles was? I think he was a librarian.
Oh, he's a librarian. Oh, well, I love books. I do love books.
Do too.
God, it's been forever. I was obsessed with that show when I was like a preteen or whatever.
So you have to give us the rundown. What's he like? Like, sell him to us as if we're going on a date.
He's got an accent, which is very nice. He puts on glasses when he's being serious.
Oh, I like that.
He's a sexy librarian. He's kind of the one that's in charge and helping Buffy, like giving her information so that
he's microfiching all day.
Yes,
I love that.
Yeah, so he's giving her the tools that she needs to defeat the vampires or what have you.
And we've all seen Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Okay.
I have not, but I know I know
You
that
know the character. Okay.
right?
All right.
So my character's name is actually John Keating. I had to look it up, but played by Robin Williams. Have you've seen Dead Poet Society?
Ages ago.
Yeah, it's
ages and
but
ages ago.
Captain,
like
my
80
captain.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
Yes.
Ugh. I literally just by looking it up, I like got almost teary eyed just looking at like died.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that's right.
Yeah.
No,
I mean, not that I ever forgot, but I was just like, oh my God.
I am a sucker for an inspiring movie.
Oh.
Like if a
all the
movie tells
time.
me to be inspired, I'm inspired.
I'm inspired.
already.
Especially that time period, because I'm
Yes.
thinking Dead Poets Society, Fried Green Tomatoes.
Oh, yeah.
Like those
Good Will
kinds of movies.
Hunting.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
I love a real feel good. I feel like we don't have those as much anymore. Like
Right.
just really just like getting in under there and making you feel
Yeah.
cozy.
And there's this kind of almost underdog
yes.
yeah.
do
Love an
good
underdog.
thing that, you know.
You know what did that for me too? Is Remember the Titans. I watched that movie so many times.
It's been a long time
Amazing.
since I've seen that movie, but I love a football movie.
I was like, they're coming together. It's inspiring at the end.
Yeah.
Got Denzel there.
she's like,
good
we are Marshall.
Oh, good fucking sports movie like Hoosiers and
And
stuff
I don't
like
even
that.
like
Shit.
sports.
Hoosiers was so good.
I don't
dude.
even like sports, and a good inspiring sports
know.
movie. Oh,
Yep.
I love sports, and my husband super loves sports. He does not like a sports movie, and I'm like, it's
Interesting.
really fucking annoying because
Wow,
I actually made him
rude.
watch one recently, and it was really good. Oh, it wasn't a sports movie so much as a documentary about. Anyway, it's
Yeah, I look at them almost like male rom-coms. Do you know what I mean?
whoa,
yeah.
they really are.
Yeah.
Good call.
And I love a rom-com.
I
do.
listen. You're absolutely right.
I know exactly how it's going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to trick me. I'm watching Remember the Titans. I'm like, what? They're going to lose at the
Yeah.
end
Field-
after all of that?
Field of Dreams?
No.
Come on.
Field
yeah.
of dreams.
No.
You know that his children
Have luxury.
luxury DNA.
That's the name of the episode. Luxury in our DNA.
Oh man.
That's incredible.
Well, yeah.
why don't you
I
go
even-
first?
Okay.
Oh, unless
I
you're
feel
not
like
ready.
it's your turn to go first, but I'll submit. I guess
I can.
I'll acquiesce if necessary. But this is a tough one.
Oh, I know what I'm doing.
Oh.
100%.
All right.
Well, you sound ready.
You're going to marry Dead Poets Society.
That's what I-
You're
John
going to
Keating,
get,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Incredibly inspired. You can talk about literature.
Ugh.
He's like animated. He's passionate.
Oof.
He's great with kids.
Reeks
you marry
passion.
that guy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You fuck Giles from
Yeah,
Buffy.
well, because I feel like fucking against bookshelves is always
oh, yeah.
it's uncomfortable but hot.
the smell of the
Old leather.
bindings.
Yeah.
Old
Yeah.
leather and sex. I think that should be the name of the title.
Sex and booty. So yeah, I'm gonna fuck Giles, and then no to the Walter White.
Yeah.
I just like it was never.
He's
a
the one
thing.
who knocks. No? You're
No,
not into it?
Not into it.
Yeah. I don't blame you.
I think I'm going to probably end up being the same way. I mean, yeah, Dead Poet. I mean, like John Keating, that character. You're right. That passion.
Oh yeah, how you
Are
do
you
one
kidding?
thing is how you do everything.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
The man is into what he does. He loves what he does. He loves these kids. Man, that guy is going to fucking just be an incredible dad.
Yeah,
An
an
incredible husband.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because you'd be like, I read the Kama Sutra today. You want to try? You know what I mean? I'm like,
All
yep,
right.
explain it to me.
My
Yeah.
only concern with him is like,
Is he too intense?
is he too intense? He loves his job, which is wonderful. But I feel like he's going to be like always, because he's always trying to better himself. He's always trying to be better for his students, which is wonderful. But it's like, man, sometimes I want to go on vacation to Mexico. And I'm like, can we go on vacation to Mexico?
Oh, does he ever
turn it
relax?
off? Does he
yeah.
ever-
Does he
get
ever
a
stop
summer?
working?
Yeah.
You
Does
know what
he
I
get
mean?
a summer break?
Yeah.
I think he's working through his summer break to have the best curriculum possible, which is
Yeah.
lovely and wonderful. But I'm also like,
Sure. But is he too intense? There is that question, right?
yeah, but he is lovely
Yeah.
and smart.
I'm married him. I don't.
And
you
I
can't-
love an
you
English
can't- You can't
teacher.
talk me out of it. It's I'm in. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. I have to.
Yeah.
Giles. It feels right.
Yeah.
He looks like he has strong hands.
Yeah. Strong
he?
forearms. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Masculine forearms. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah. Because Walter White. It's just not.
It's the
Not feeling
It's
that.
the briefs.
Of all the things, of all the
Listen.
problems
Listen.
with Walter White,
Listen.
it's the briefs.
I'm not going to disagree.
It's the saggy. white
man
briefs. Yeah. It's not.
Can we call that WAS?
Was.
Yes, babes. Oh man, I mean, I have a real soft spot for Bryan Cranston. Like, I just think he's so wonderful and like just seems so lovely in every interview. Walter White is not Bryan Cranston.
Correct.
No.
Yes,
They're
we are
different people.
differentiating.
Also, I did have a real issue in that show because I was just like, man, for somebody who got into this to like keep his family in a good position, you really like brought danger to your family's
yeah.
every turn.
Don't love that.
Like,
Yeah, because I don't think it was about his family
it's
at
about
all.
his ego.
Yep.
But yeah, and I can't really live dangerously. You see, I have luxurious DNA. I can't live on the edge like that. I can't be ready to run at a moment's notice. I'm not built to launder money.
No.
Yeah. She's like, I may have been raised outside the Ozarks, but I'm not built for.
Well, he's from Albuquerque.
Right.
Yeah.
But the show Ozarks, right?
Oh,
Weren't
yeah.
they also?
Yes.
Okay.
But I was born in Albuquerque. So there is that.
Oh, shit.
But no, I think I have to do the same thing as well. I mean, I think that Robin Williams' character is going to require a lot of like getting him to turn off. Like there's going to be a lot of nights where you have to go into the study and do like the shoulder rub and be like, time for bed. You know what I mean? I think you're going to have to with that guy. I don't think he would come to bed otherwise. He's like staying up doing stuff.
Well, then I'll just read or something. I don't know. I'm not that mean. Amy.
But so, I mean, I do think he's fairly intense, but I love passion. I love people who are passionate about literature. And he is.
And he's fun, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the thing.
He makes
too.
it interesting.
He makes it interesting. He makes it fun. So it's not just about
Not
the
stuffy.
everyday. Yeah.
Yeah, which I like. And then don't know nothing about Giles, but he's giving me sexual energy in that picture, and I don't know why.
He's giving me sexy librarian.
Sexy librarian, 90s sexy librarian.
Yeah, probably
for sure.
need to take a closer look at that because like he's not. I don't. He
She is
shouldn't
working
be.
in a school,
Yeah.
a high school.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need to look at it any deeper than that. I'm a grown adult. That's all that matters. So that's what I'm going to do.
It ain't my high school.
It's true.
No.
It's
Nope.
true. And I've never been kissed.
Oh, man. Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good.
And we're back. Alrighty. I have the Tainted Love this week, so I will start us off with stories. I was trying out a new... sorry. That came in really suddenly. I was going to give you the first line, but then I was like, oh no, I don't want to do that because I think it gives too much away. So yes, I'll just jump right in. Anyway, I was trying out a new med called Topamax.
Oh, okay.
The first day was okay. A little dizziness, mild confusion, the pretty typical side effects of AEDs. I thought, well, this isn't too bad. I think I can get away with going out. I usually stay in bed for the first 3 or 4 days when I have a new medication.
Acclimate.
And make sure that I'm not left alone until I know how the med affects me.
Yeah. Smart.
We decided on a movie. I popped my meds and got ready. I was fine until about an hour into the date. I started feeling really dizzy. I wouldn't talk without slurring. I tried to get up to excuse myself and couldn't stand without falling over. The guy I was with was watching all this. I was too embarrassed to let him know I was epileptic yet.
Baby.
Now I realize I owe it to people who are going to be around me for an extended time to tell them.
Yes.
I get why seizures freak people the fuck out.
Yeah, if you're not used to it or
Yes.
whatever, it's fucking terrifying.
Yes. He said, "Are you drunk? Come on, I am taking you home now."
Oh.
He helped me stagger to his car and get in. He just looked at me and shook his head and said, "Really?"
Oh my God. That's my soul felt
Okay,
that.
Judge Judy. Oh my God.
We drove to my house.
I mean, if she was drunk, I might be.
Well,
Really?
Really? I do love that when it's that look
judgmental.
on your face where you're just like, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not
even
mad.
mad at you. I'm just
It's
disappointed.
7:30.
Yes. When did you even do it?
Yeah.
We're an hour. Were you sneaking off and taking shots in the bathroom? When we got there, he politely said, "I have no problem with anyone getting a little tipsy, but wasted before a date, I'm really kind of hurt, and I think we're just not matched to each other.
Oh.
It's actually a really respectful way of saying
Yeah.
it.
She's like,
It's clearly communicated.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I tried to apologize, but I slurred it awfully. I tried to tell him, I have epilepsy. He didn't understand. I finally pulled up the wrist of my sweater and showed him my medic alert bracelet. He freaked. But for my safety. Are you having a seizure? What do I do? How do I help you? Do I need to call 911? I shook my head.
That would have been me too. I'm like, oh my God.
And then you feel bad too. You're like, oh, I just lectured you. I just gave you the disappointed head shake.
No, the worst.
I shook my head. No, all they do is give you IV midazolam and say, yep, she has epilepsy, and send you home with a $1,500 ambulance bill.
Yeah,
That's also a good thing to know.
Yeah.
I finally found a napkin and a pen and sloppily scratched out new medication, not drunk.
Oh my God.
Baby. He just kept apologizing. He called my roommate to come down and help him carry me in. He sat with me until I fell asleep.
Oh my God.
He and my roommate had a good talk. He told him I didn't like to tell people because they treat you weird once they know. He talked about how awful the meds were, but that I'd tough out anything for 6 weeks to see if it worked. He said, keep in touch with me and give it another shot once I adjusted to this drug. He called me every other day to check on me.
Wow.
He stayed with me when my roommate went out of town.
You're married.
He still apologized. I took responsibility 100% for not telling him. He was gracious and kind. We dated for about 6 months before he got an awesome engineering job in Seattle. We stayed friends and talked maybe once a month. He even went by and took pictures of Kurt Cobain's old house for me.
Wow.
He eventually started dating a woman who didn't think it was cool to keep talking to me. He was honest about it, and I wished him well and said she sounded really cool. In parentheses, she didn't. She sounded like a drama-infested train wreck.
Well.
And if they were ever in town, they always had a place to stay at my apartment. I still feel really embarrassed about it. That's when I started letting people know and where I kept my card with instructions on it and what to do. They feel better and I feel better knowing someone isn't going to shove a spoon in my mouth or hold me down. Lesson learned.
Wow. That's incredible.
And the headline was like the time I accidentally got fucked up on a date.
Like, really?
It really was an accident.
Oh my gosh. Okay, this person writes, I still cringe at this. Was talking to this gorgeous Brazilian lady who was a singer. We met online and we were talking for a while, really vibed well, and decided to meet up for a date. Earlier that week, my mother made a comment about how pale I looked and how I should consider using fake tan.
Baby. Now's not the
add
time.
a bit of color.
Now is not the time. If you're thinking about experimenting with something that's going to fuck with your looks right before a date with someone you like is not the time.
Girls, I saw a motherfucking TikTok. This lady was 3 weeks out from her wedding. And went to go get her hair chemically straightened.
Baby.
No.
Why?
No.
Why would you do that?
She went to a new salon.
No. What are you thinking?
She gets out and the top of her head is all this long,
Like an inch
but
to
the
an
back
half inch.
is long.
No.
No.
She had a
It was
hedgehog.
fucking mullet.
No.
It was
Honey,
awful.
that poor thing. I feel so bad for her.
Well, a hair care company snatched her up and actually was like, we'll
They
put
give her extensions.
they did all kinds of treatments on her damaged hair and like went through and gave her extensions, which I was like, you don't want to do extensions on damaged hair,
but what's the alternative?
A
Yeah.
wig.
A wig.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a really good one, like a good install on a lace front.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
wig on your wedding.
I mean, the alternatives though. Well, Cassie, what happens? Like if that happens to you, like the salon, what happens?
Well, first of all, to me, it sounds like probably she didn't disclose everything that was on her hair. First of all, most stylists are well versed in their chemicals.
I see.
And the interactions they take. So when you go to a salon and people ask
You gotta be honest.
What do you have on your hair? Well, I haven't colored it. what, in the past year, you still have color in your hair. You still have all these things in your hair. So you have to be 100% honest. You really need to talk about the history of the things that you've done for the past 10 to 20 years.
Well, that's the thing. She was getting the Brazilian from actual Brazil. And the guy was saying,
the Brazilian
yeah,
blowout.
the guy was saying is like, well, different countries like have different chemical makeups because and regulations and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's probably what happened.
That applies to your face as well.
Absolutely.
Like if you're going to get a wax or like,
girl, you and your waxing.
I did sugar myself again because I'm using the rest of that sugar until I'm out of it.
Dude, I got a product to show you when we're done.
I can't wait.
It's a handheld laser device.
Sweet.
Does it work?
Look, I will try all the products and I will give a full in-depth review, like sugaring, waxing, home fucking laser.
I know. Wait till I contact them and be like, "We're giving you organic mentions on our podcast." So, yeah.
Can we at least get an affiliate link? Or
seriously,
what's up?
Come on.
Anyway, sorry.
Yes. So he decides. His mom says, "Baby's looking pale," so he's like, "I should consider using fake tan to add a bit of color."
Shouldn't.
That shit is so finicky because if you don't apply it right, it is Streak City.
And Orange City.
Considering I wanted to make a good impression, I decided later that week on date night. Never. He's like, I have to meet her at 5. At 4 o'clock, I opened up the Jergens.
Honey.
Got my gloves out.
Sir. My dude. Oh my God.
So this sounds like a boy thing to do. It really does.
I applied the fake tan and then put on my nicest white polo shirt.
This is a man.
It is a man. It is a man. Because also you're supposed to let it sit and then wash it off.
Listen,
like you don't. Like,
this is a man doing a man's version of a thing.
Of the man thing. Okay. Well, turns out I'm actually a really sweaty guy.
Oh, just a tan shirt.
He gets naked to poop for sure.
Oh my God. She turns up and looks mind blowing. This makes me more nervous and I start to sweat more.
Oh no.
We proceed to a Middle Eastern restaurant.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And sit under a light that's brighter than the sun and nearly as hot combined with the spicy food. I am now melting and getting more self-conscious.
I can't wait until he sees himself in the mirror. Just the streaks.
It's not just a normal sweat. Oh no, I'm sweating orange onto a white polo shirt.
Oh no.
She's embarrassed.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed.
It's
even
dripping from his eyelashes into his curry. No.
Same color as his curry.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God. Even the waiter looked at me like, holy shit. It's a string of horrible choices that led me looking like a bleeding Watset. The more self-conscious I got, the more I started sweating like a perpetual infinite resource of embarrassment.
Yeah, that's what happens. The more you think about it, the worse it gets.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, she was a lovely girl, but mentally, I was gone.
Yeah.
We went for a drink and everything.
Oh
She's
my God.
like,
she committed to it.
I need to know what he looked. I wish he'd taken like a mirror selfie because I gotta see.
I gotta see. You gotta put visuals
because
to this.
that shit wasn't even set. Because like you have to set self tanner. Like it's not like one of those. You just can't just put it on and then put a shirt on and leave the house.
I'm telling you.
Yeah.
A man
didn't read the instructions. He sure
He's
did
like,
not.
I got it.
He didn't
just put it on your skin.
you
It's
just
just like lotion.
Yeah.
It's like lotion.
You just rub it in.
How hard can it be?
It's just lotion.
Women do this all the time. Come on.
Can't be that hard. Come on.
At the end of the night, she did kiss me.
Oh no, risky business.
She came
We got
away with an
a
orange
bit
mouth.
we got a bit raunchy, and I promised very lightly. Bit her lip, only to pop what I think was a mouth ulcer.
What?
She had like
don't
a
say it again.
canker sore
Don't say
on
it
the
again. Don't say it again. Don't say it again. Don't say it again.
Oh my God. I forgot about that part. I forgot about that part.
God.
It's terrible. I'm sorry.
I would never be able to.
She pulled away, looked embarrassed. Again, and laughing said, I'm just going to go home now.
Yeah, we're done here.
We're gonna call this.
We are done.
Absolute fucking mess of a date. We even went out 2 more times.
Baby.
The commitment.
Yeah, he must have had some riz, man.
Yeah.
I'm usually a really confident guy.
Yeah, there it is.
But with her, for whatever reason, I was such an idiot. I think she was just too good looking.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm punching above my weight class
We've all
here.
been there acting stupid around people who are hot.
You're like, you know what? I can't get the upper hand here.
I can't get a grip on it. I'm just going to go.
I'm just... Wow.
My goodness.
Well, my story follows a very similar pattern.
Oh, excellent.
And I think you'll like it. There is no self-tanner involved, unfortunately, but
What if there was? That'd be incredible.
That would be
that would
amazing.
be incredible. Now I kind of want everyone's self-tanner stories.
Please.
Please
yeah,
send those
if you
in.
have. And you know what? All of those like bathroom mishaps. I want self-tanner. I want you tried to wax your own bikini
like
line.
fucking pimple popper stuff.
I want
like
all of it.
The fuck.
You try to color your own hair, ended up with a ring of color around
Dude,
your face.
I saw somebody that put their hair the other day half up, half down.
Okay.
Pulled the half up on top of her head. And then instead of cutting
Stop it.
above the thing,
Cut
she
below
cut
the
below it.
ponytail?
It was the most insane thing
Why
I've ever
would she do that?
seen in my life. And so then the top is just like, she's like, I think it looks good. And
Do you?
Did you go to the comments?
I'm so glad
Yes, I
you think it looks good. I'm so happy that you
Yeah.
think it looks good. If you like it, I love it.
Yeah.
You
But I
do
was
you,
like,
babes.
I was like, above the thing, not below.
And
I mean,
don't do
neither.
that. Don't do
neither. But
wow.
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 ooh,
I mean, listen, you guys, this is just what keeps me in business.
yeah.
Yeah.
Keeps
It's true.
me going.
Exactly.
All right. So this starts. When I was in high school, I had a punk friend I used to run into a lot at shows, and he was often with this really cute, skinny guy with long hair named Billy.
Billy.
The way this is so relatable across the board.
Yeah.
Hot punk kid.
Yeah.
Probably super skinny.
Yeah.
Definitely had a skateboard, and his name was Billy Doy.
Yeah. What year is this? Because then I
Yeah.
can determine how tight the pants were.
Oh.
Yeah, because these are,
Yeah.
I'm seeing
He's a
Jenko.
Jenko. Right.
See, you're seeing Jenko. I'm
And
seeing
these
those tight,
black-
skinny jeans.
yeah.
Black jeans with Vans.
because that was who I was into. It was just like punk kid who had like way too long bangs, the skinniest fucking
The
pants you've
checkerboard
ever
Vans.
seen,
Stovepipe.
checkerboard
Yeah.
Vans, and like a studded belt.
Wow. Wow.
Very specific, and that was my type.
I definitely was thinking more. Well, I was actually
Could go
thinking
either
more
way.
punk, like you know, like yeah.
It could go a
Anyway.
number of
Yeah,
ways.
it
Yeah,
really
depends
but
on what
in
year
my-
this takes place.
But in my mind, there's a version of one of these
Absolutely.
for all of us.
We all had a
here.
Billy.
We all had a Billy.
Yeah, definitely.
Billy was hot.
I'm sure he was.
Fast forward about 2 years after high school, I found out Billy and I were attending the same college. He asked me online if I wanted to meet up with him between classes, and I said yes. I didn't recognize him at first and apparently walked right past him. Eventually, he texted me and figured out where I was so he could come, so I could go hang out with him in his car.
Oh, God.
This sounds like teens.
This sounds exactly
The
like
amount of
teenage.
hanging out in cars I did.
Oh, I know.
So much hanging out in
I
cars.
sound like I'm losing my voice a little bit.
You do.
I am on a new inhaler, and I think it's got my voice a little rough, so I'm apologizing.
That's okay. It's sexy.
But I can breathe better, so that's good.
yeah.
So
there you
that's,
go.
But
We'll take it.
Okay. Apologies, though. I'm like, I hear myself. I'm like, they don't sound normal. I sound like an old lady. It's still me, guys. I promise.
Grandma Cass bringing you the hits.
Going through puberty again. Scoob. He looked nothing like he used to. Oh no.
Oh no.
I didn't.
Do you need to
I really
get some
didn't.
water?
Let me swig my beer.
Okay.
He gained a lot of weight. There it is. He gained a lot of weight and had cut his hair much shorter.
And this is years later?
This is 2 years later.
2 years later.
I distinctly remember he was wearing these really ugly pants that looked like they were handmade. In a bad way.
Oh, in a bad way. I'm like, that could go either way.
I know, right?
You know?
He also kept talking about the fact that he had a Prince Albert, which I did not care about.
No,
The way I'm
Listen.
like,
No.
I do know this guy. The way I 100%
there is
know
always
this guy.
the guy who has there are two guys with the Prince Albert, the ones who you never know until you get in there,
Okay.
and the ones who will not
Not
shut the fuck up about it.
Right.
all they got to do is tell you about it all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Wait, do we have some sneaky Prince Alberts around? I need to know.
I mean, I'm sure. Yeah.
I feel like people with Prince Alberts are like, yeah, God, Prince Albert. You're like,
well, how bad does it hurt? Because depending, I might tell people. Like, I knew a girl who had her nipples pierced, and she did tell everybody because that shit hurts so bad. And I'm like, I get it.
I couldn't.
I think it could be me.
Oof.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Does it feel good enough? Is the payoff good enough?
I guess it depends. Everybody's a little bit more different sensitivity in that area.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did know a girl that had her clit pierced.
Owie. Couldn't do that.
I was like,
that can't be
girl.
me.
You know, not everything's for everybody.
No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not judging at all.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think there's like, I'm fairly sensitive in my nipples already. So I guess it might not be good for me. But if you
it could be great for you.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that's what is good about it.
I'm always turned on. Like,
yeah. your nipples just rubbing against your shirt.
Get it together.
We're like, it's really uncomfortable to hang out with Cassie.
Piercing had a moment though. Remember?
Yes.
And I feel like maybe this was like
the early
15,
2000s,
20 years
the
ago.
early 2000s, everyone had everything pierced. It's like double lip piercing.
Oh yeah,
like
you
the
the Monroes,
were big.
eyebrows
were
nose.
big.
Yeah,
I had my
shoulders,
nose
knees, and
pierced.
toes.
People like doing those dermals,
Dermals.
or whatever.
Yeah. Which I think are pretty, but I couldn't do because there's no way I could take them on and off myself.
Right.
I definitely had an eyebrow ring.
Yeah, I had my nose pierced several
I
times.
had a Monroe.
Yeah.
Oh, I could totally see
all
that.
of us with our early 2000s
All right,
piercings.
there
Anyway,
we go. When he asked me out on a date, I said, sure. What's the harm in it? It was rare for anyone to ask me out on a proper date. He picked me up from my parents' house the next night, and we went to a nearby theater that was 7 minutes away. Unfortunately, once we got there, they wanted to see my ID for the movie, and I didn't have it, so we had to go all the way back to my house. He acted really annoyed and inconvenienced that I had left my ID at home, even though it wasn't really a far drive, and we got there pretty early. Anyway, we get back to the theater and see Strange Wilderness.
Okay.
Do you remember that movie?
No, I don't.
All I remember is that fucking shark. It's like, oh.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to look it up because that'll give us a time period.
I think it might be Steve Zahn.
Oh my God. Yes. Now I know the movie that you're talking about.
Yeah. The movie had been in theaters for a few weeks at this point, so the theater itself was nearly empty.
2008. So yes.
Oh, yeah.
We're talking.
Okay.
I know exactly what Billy is.
Tweet black jeans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight will be the night that
Yes,
will fall for
exactly.
you.
Exactly.
Yes.
It was just us, another couple, and an older dude by himself. Throughout the entire movie, Billy laughed at pretty much every single joke.
Okay.
Well, wouldn't really call it a laugh so much. Really, it was more of a loud, high-pitched giggle.
Oh, he's a hyena.
Oh God.
At first, I thought it was fake, but he kept giggling like that. It was really off-putting.
It's like the girlfriend on Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're like, oh my God. Take it down a notch.
After a short while, it became obvious that the other people in the theater were no longer laughing at the movie's jokes, but at Billy's laugh. It was that ridiculous. As the movie wore on, I got more and more embarrassed. I remember thinking to myself, I'm never seeing a movie with this guy again.
Yeah.
When we left the theater.
Keeping it all drama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All drama.
Yeah.
No
just
comms.
tears.
Yes.
When we left the theater, he immediately turned to me and exclaimed, wow, that movie was fucking awful. I didn't really like it at all.
Hilarious.
That movie is fucking awful.
What the fuck? Then why were you giggling constantly through the entire thing? I was super confused. Stupid movie.
People are so fucking weird. I
So
swear
weird.
to God, it's so funny to me.
When it came time for him to drop me off, he stalled in the driveway and asked me to make out with him. I told him no, absolutely
Billy.
not, because my dad was weird and was definitely watching us from his office window.
That's a funny visual for me.
He completely ignored my request, put the car in park, and started playing music. What did he put on? Barry fucking White.
No.
I couldn't believe it.
Banana.
So I awkwardly made out with him to Barry White in his dirty
in
car
2008
in front of my parents' house. I felt the same embarrassment I'd felt when we were in the theater. It took everything in me not to burst out laughing.
I have to think that Billy looks back on this and he
Cringes.
feels shame.
I
Yeah,
hope so.
because he probably thought he was so smooth putting Barry White on, and as an adult, like years later, 15 years later,
It's like, I
he's
can't
like,
believe I was trying to do that in a Ford
my
Escort.
God. Right.
Oh, man.
In my Ford Escort that smells like Doritos. Like, no.
Has Mountain Dew stains on the
Oh
seat.
my God. Yeah, there literally is a Baja Blast that's been in that cup holder for like 2 weeks.
Yep.
Exactly. It's on the floor. What are you talking about?
Disgusting.
I have to assume somebody told him to put that music on for girls as a joke, but he took it seriously.
Babe.
For the record, he was also a terrible kisser.
Oh, no. He's just licking all over your face.
Ew. We hung out maybe twice after that again, but I never made out with him again or anything. I remember at the one point we were in a cafe and he, quote, accidentally showed me pictures of his dick to show off.
Yeah, you didn't beg to see his Prince Albert, so he had to manufacture some way for you to
Dude,
see it. He had to.
I worked with a guy who did that to me.
No.
Yes. 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 Yes.
I-
Yes. 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 Yes.
Not okay.
Wait, it's hitting me.
Probably about
At
the
the
same-
workplace?
Yeah.
In the workplace.
Yes. In the back room of our salon.
That is an HR violation.
You think?
Yep.
It was also like probably the same decade.
2008 was a wild time.
It was.
It
Yeah.
really
This
was.
was probably actually more like 2005 or.
Even worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even worse.
It was all awful. All
Yeah.
of it was awful.
Pretty bad.
Anyway, so it, quote, accidentally showed me his Prince Albert. Oh my God, I'm so sorry about that. I cluelessly replied, oh, don't worry. It was so fast. I didn't see anything. I never saw or heard from him again after that year. I haven't been able to search him online, but I'm sure he'd be just as recognizable and uninteresting as before.
Wow.
Wow.
I like to think silver lining. I like to think that somebody was like, stop fucking doing that and whip him into
for
shape
sure. Yes.
Yeah.
and stuff. And that he's
I
like,
was a cringe human in 2008
yes.
for sure.
Me
and
too.
I have hope for Billy.
I had a hard pick me.
Energy.
Same,
Yeah.
girl.
Yeah.
Real aggressive
I mean-
pick me energy at that age.
Billy, I do hope you grew up. However, that was assault. You can't just show people
Right.
pictures of your penis when they didn't ask to
Make
see
a
pictures
folder
of your
in
penis.
your phone.
or yeah,
Not
or
appropriate.
delete. You know,
Make
take
a folder.
freshies when someone asks
Take
for him.
freshies.
Yeah,
Yeah, but this one was really good.
yeah,
It's
the
really good
lighting
lighting.
was great. You can see the shine off the Prince Albert. Oh my God! Well, you guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good.
Or not stories? The Tainted Love.
Oh, I was like, yep, sure. And we're back. Keegan, please tell us your tainted love.
Okay. Listen, I don't know. I spun around in circles trying to figure out what to do this week, but this one is one that's been on my list for a while.
Okay.
You have almost definitely heard of it, but it is one of those that I'm just like, we have to cover it at some point. So
Ooh, okay.
why not today?
Oh, wow.
You know what I
All
mean?
right.
Like, why not make
Tackling it.
this day right now?
All right.
It is another way back.
Okay.
Way back story. I am going to be talking about the brides in the bath.
Oh,
I
yes.
do not know
You
this.
don't know this?
I don't think so.
Okay, you might know it as we go along.
Yes,
Okay.
I think you will.
All right.
Okay. So in January of 1915, Scotland Yard receives a letter from a man named Joseph Crossley. He's a co-owner with his wife of the Blackpool boarding house. In the letter, Crossley tells police about a young woman, 25-year-old Alice Smith, who died in his boarding house a year earlier while taking a bath and was found by her husband at the time, George. He also includes news clippings from News of the World regarding the recent death of another young woman named Margaret Lloyd, who died similarly in the bathtub. So basically, this guy, and he tells them, he's like, my wife, I'm writing this letter on my wife's behalf. My wife was like, you better fucking write them. You
Yeah,
need to
you
write
better.
the police right now.
This happened twice.
I don't like
Shouldn't
it.
have happened once.
Yes, nosy Nellies, we love to see it.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah, included the clippings, which I think
Love it.
is great.
This
The
is
receipts.
This is the
The
original.
receipts.
yeah, I got the
This
receipts.
is an OG right here. This woman.
Yes. So the detective inspector, a man named Arthur Neal, decided to take a closer look at both cases. Though he saw that they appeared to have been married to different men, Alice was married to a man named George, and Margaret was married to a man named John. Both women were newlyweds. In Margaret's case, the two had been married for a mere 24 hours.
That feels too soon.
24
Yikes.
hours when she was found dead. And both women left sizable inheritances to their new husbands. The day after receiving the letter, D.I. Neal goes over to the Crossleys boarding house to speak with the owners, who tell him...
I mean, thank God it was a man who wrote the letter.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because if a woman had written that letter...
Well, hysterical.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's why his wife was like, hey,
please,
you need to do this. You do it. They'll listen to you.
Exactly.
So he goes over there to talk to the Crossleys, and they tell him that they first met Alice and George when they came in to rent a room, and the first thing that George did was go into the bathroom to inspect the bathtub. So he walked in, he's like, don't talk to me, I gotta see this bathtub. Went, looked at the bathtub, and then
We'll take it.
after finding it satisfactory, he agreed to take the room. D.I. Neal then goes and talks to the landlady who rented the space to Margaret and her husband, John, who says that on the night Margaret died, she heard a commotion upstairs, after which she heard the hymn, Nearer My God to Thee, playing loudly on the harmonium in the couple's room.
Oh, no.
Nearer my God to thee.
And
How
a
fucking
harmonium.
creepy.
And a harmonium.
I'm sorry.
Isn't that
haunted.
Is that the instrument that Adam Sandler's playing in Punch Drunk Love? Oh my God.
I don't know. It's so truly upsetting.
Yes.
After this, she ran into John, Margaret's husband, who said that he was going out to get tomatoes for dinner. He's like, oh, wow, we don't have enough tomatoes to make dinner. I got to go get some tomatoes. And when he returned, he found his wife dead in the bath.
Interesting.
When D.I. Neal inspected the bathtub, he noted that he found it too small for a fully grown adult woman to have drowned in. He was like, these bathtubs, they're like old timey bathtubs. So I think they're probably deep but short, maybe. Yeah. He reaches out to the Blackpool police regarding Alice Smith's case. Remember that these are different jurisdictions, and this is 1915. So
that's a big deal.
Yeah, compliments to them for like working together. He's like, hey, I need more information on this case.
It's like the doctor that was like, maybe wash your hands.
Yeah,
You know?
hey,
it's like great moments in history happening
this could be
right
a
here.
good solution to the
We could
problems
talk.
we're having. Yeah.
To communicate.
Yeah. They tell him that Alice's husband, George, was her sole beneficiary and was issued a life insurance payout of £500 at the time of her death. And that would be roughly £50,000 today.
Okay.
Wow.
It's a lot of money. He also notes that the physical descriptions of both men are eerily similar. So John and George seem to look a lot alike. Now, listen, it's 1915. I feel like everybody looks the same. It's all like, y'all had a mustache and a bowler hat. Like everybody, you know? But so the detective calls up the coroner for the Margaret Lloyd case, who tells the inspector that he'd been contacted by an insurance company asking him to give a report as to whether or not the claim was legitimate. Margaret's life insurance policy was for £700, which is roughly £70,000
Jeez,
in today's
man.
money. Yes.
And you had a lot more purchasing power. Like in 1915, I think a house cost a goat.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
And not even your best goat, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, you kind of get one that's looking a little mangy. Yeah.
That's
Jumps on
Barney.
it.
He's got fleas.
He runs in circles only. Yeah. The coroner is also like, hey, so while you're asking questions, I just want to let you know that her husband was acting weird as fuck. He tells the detective that Margaret's newlywed husband showed very little emotion, purchased the cheapest coffin available, and when his wife was finally in the ground, was rumored to have said, thank goodness that's over.
Woof.
Damn.
Out loud you said that?
Sir.
Inside voice.
Sir, you said that out
Goodness.
loud.
That is an inside thought. Hoping that the perpetrator would come forward to collect the money, D.I. Neal instructed the doctor to issue a favorable report to the insurance company, and then he stakes out the lawyer's office waiting for the perpetrator to come. Alleged perpetrator. Sure enough, on February 1st, 1915, a man fitting Lloyd Smith's description appears. Neal introduces himself and asks if he's John Lloyd. And he's like, yes, I'm John Lloyd. And they're like, okay, are you also George Smith? And he's like, no, I'm not.
I don't know her.
I don't know that person. But once he's taken it, they're like, okay, well, we're going to arrest you anyway. And once he's taken into custody, because it's 1915, right, you don't need a whole lot.
Yeah. You're looking shifty.
You are shady. We're arresting you. Yeah. So as soon as he is arrested, he admits that his real name is George Joseph Smith.
I'm George. No.
George Joseph Smith, who is, I think, Joseph Smith, although it's not hyphenated, people sometimes use it as his last name. So they will sometimes refer to him as like Joseph Smith. And I'm like, that's confusing.
Yeah.
George Joseph
Jacob
Smith
Jingleheimer Schmidt
was born in Bethnal Green, London on January 11th. 1872. So he's Capricorn.
Oh, great. He's a go-getter.
Yeah, he really is. He really is. You're going to see. Ironically, he was the son of an insurance agent.
Yep.
So he learned the rules of the trade early on and was a problem child from an early age. He was sent to a reformatory school at the age of 9 and imprisoned throughout his young adult. Well, it was late 1800s, early 1900s.
Yeah,
kids were allowed to work and go to jail
and get married and everything.
Yes.
9-year-olds with full ass lives.
Man, the good old days. Am I right?
Right. Yeah. No child labor laws. But he was imprisoned throughout his young adulthood. So basically, he went to the reformatory school at 9, and then after that, he had a string of petty
So you're telling me
thefts.
that he was not reformed?
He was not, in fact, reformed.
I understand.
I don't think that was actually what they were trying to do at that reformatory school.
Yeah.
But he was imprisoned for things like theft and fraud, mostly, like petty crimes. In 1896, at the age of 24, Smith convinces a woman he's seeing to start stealing from her employers and giving him the money. He's probably sick of doing his own thieving. You know what I mean? He's like, I can put these good looks to use.
And
okay, I got riz, I got charm. Yeah, I'm going to have you do crime and you give me your money. That sounds better. It's that Capricorn energy. You got to work smarter.
It's all about delegating.
That's right, exactly. He's got management in his blood.
Yeah. And then you recruit thieves for you.
That's right. It's a
and
pyramid.
then we all get rich.
You get your thieving down
Hey,
line.
girl.
Hey, boss babe.
I know it's been a while since we talked.
But I just thought this was such a funny detail. So he's 24. He gets his girlfriend to steal from her job, and then he uses the money to open a bakery.
Oh, okay. He just wanted to do croissant.
Yeah, he just wanted to bake bread. Yeah. What if this was Paul Hollywood's great grandfather?
Oh my God, origin story.
She gets caught and rats him out, and he's sentenced to a year in jail for convincing the woman to steal for him, which I was like, is that something you can be arrested for? If I talked Christina into doing a crime for me.
Because
I could go to jail for that?
Well, yeah. Isn't that what happened to that girl who talked her boyfriend into killing himself?
Yeah, I love you now, die.
Yeah.
But she wasn't convicted.
Oh, she wasn't.
Yeah.
I thought she was.
That's true.
I don't know. Different times, too.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Right.
Also, I think there's a big difference between talking someone, because I think that you can do that. If you talk someone into murdering somebody, then I think that's different than being but if I was Christina, steal from your job and then give me the money, I would get arrested for that.
I think there is some culpability.
There is some crimes, I think.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's shitty, no doubt.
People that are involved in sex work and stuff and who are controlling women and sex work is illegal or whatever, and they're not doing it, but they would get prosecuted
because they're profiting from the crime. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. When he gets out of jail, he changes his name and starts going by George Oliver Love.
Gross.
Love. It's under this name that he marries a woman named Caroline Beatrice Thornhill. They move to London, where Caroline gets a job as a maid, and George manages to convince his new wife to start stealing from her employers for him. Also, around this time, about a year into his marriage to Caroline, George marries another woman. Unnamed.
Not married legally.
Right.
That's bigamy.
But marries her.
This would be an awesome Downton Abbey episode.
Listen, it's about to get unhinged.
Yeah.
So soon, Caroline is caught stealing and imprisoned. So no skin off George's back. He just goes and hangs out with his other wife.
Yeah.
Until Caroline gets out of prison a year later in 1901.
He's like, oops, gotta go back.
Right. But at that time, Caroline just got out of jail. Can you imagine? He walks in the door. He's like, honey, I'm home. And she's sitting there like arms crossed. Like, I don't fucking think so. So a year, she gets out and then she rats him out. She incriminates him and he ends up going to jail for 2 years.
Okay.
So during this time, Caroline takes this opportunity to fuck off to Canada. She goes across an ocean.
Yeah,
she's like, goodbye.
Yeah.
Double deuces. And when George gets out of prison, he goes back to his other wife, steals all her money, and then dips.
Oof.
Takes all her savings and then gets the fuck out.
That's awful.
He's terrible. In 1908, George marries another woman. Note that he is still legally married to Caroline.
Right.
He never got divorced. He never gets divorced from Caroline.
So all these marriages are moot anyway.
Right. But not to the women.
Yeah.
The women don't know. Because it's the early 1900s and like...
What, are they going to Google it?
Yeah, there's no real records. Yeah.
Go 10 feet like to the left and be like, my name's John.
Exactly. And people are like, okay.
Hey, John.
Sounds good.
I like that he has a Atlantic.
Yeah.
Mid-Atlantic, yes.
So he marries another woman named Florence Wilson a month later. So he marries her a month later, steals 30 pounds from her savings account, which is about $3,000 today or 3,000 pounds, and bounces. He also steals a number of her belongings, which he sells. So he steals a bunch of her shit from the house and sells it. He leaves Florence on July 3rd. On July 30th, he marries another woman named Edith Peglar, who had replied to an advertisement for a housekeeper. Now, George...
Does he ever call women by their names? Is it all just like hun?
Hun, babe.
Oh,
sweetie,
absolutely.
Sugar tits.
Yeah.
Yes, darling. Yeah. Now, George did seem to actually like Edith, maybe because she just did not seem to mind that he would just fuck off for months at a time. Because he would just leave and she's like, he's selling antiques. That's what he's telling me
My
he's doing.
antiques.
Yeah, exactly.
But he seems to, like, he didn't really steal from her and in fact would come back to her with money.
Yeah. What are antiques like then?
At like 1700 doubloons.
Like mummies.
Yeah, mummies.
Dinosaur.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Look, it's a real dinosaur leg. We're using it as a lamp
Table.
It's like that Christmas Story leg lamp, but it's an actual dinosaur leg. That's funny. But yeah, so he would like fuck off for months at a time. He would come back with money. And she'd just be like, well, I guess he's a really good antique dealer. And she's like, good enough for me. I don't care. You know what? Honestly, as a woman at this time period, you're probably like fucking fine.
Yep. Nope. Don't have any
fuck.
questions.
Like,
None
whatever.
whatsoever. Do you, boo?
Yeah. Maybe his fondness for Edith led him to slow his roll slightly because he did wait over a year until October 1909 to marry his next wife, Sarah Freeman, under the name George Rose Smith. As he had done previously, he soon abandoned Sarah, emptying her savings account and selling her war bonds for a total of about 400 pounds.
Wow.
After his marriage to Sarah, George met and married a woman named Beatrice Bessie Mundy. So she went by Bessie. He introduced himself as Henry Williams and sought Bessie out after learning that she had inherited 2,500 pounds after the death of her father, which is roughly 320,000 pounds.
Wow. This is Sanditon.
Huge inheritance.
Yeah.
Right?
That was like a huge payout for him. He was dealing in like, a few thousand here, a few thousand there, maybe a couple tens of thousands. Right. So maybe that's why he decided to change his MO with Bessie. The couple rented a home at 80 High Street. The home had no bath, so he rented one 7 weeks into their stay there. I didn't know this was something you could do.
That's a strong MO.
Go rent a bathtub,
Yeah. Do they deliver it or like?
I don't know, you got to pick it up, put it on the back of your carriage. I don't know.
Old school Amazon.
Yeah. You have to deliver. They're like free, but you have to deliver. You got to pick it up.
Yeah.
When Bessie started complaining of headaches, George convinced her that she likely had epilepsy and took her to a doctor, a man named Frank French. He told the doctor, because there's also a time when you're going to listen to the woman, right?
Right.
So the husband, he tells the doctor that his wife would suffer epileptic seizures and that she would come out of it and have no knowledge of it. So that's why Bessie doesn't remember. He's like, Bessie, you don't remember when you have epileptic seizures. Yeah.
Okay.
And the doctor's like, well, you're the man,
right.
so that sounds right to me. That's good enough. And prescribed Bessie with some seizure medication. Ugh. 2 years into the marriage, which is practically a lifetime for George, we have to be honest.
Yeah.
That's, wow, committed. French received a call from George saying that his wife had suffered a seizure in the bathtub and drowned. When he came to examine the body, he found her head underwater in the small tub with her feet sticking straight up. Finding no evidence of a violent struggle, he ruled the death an accidental drowning due to epilepsy, and George received the full £2,500 inheritance per Bessie's will that she had made a mere 5 days before her death.
Interesting.
Right. So I think he stayed with her for 2 years, probably because she was hesitant to like change her will.
Of course.
So as soon as she changed it, he was like, we're in like Flynn.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Countdown's on.
Mm-hmm. Following this was his marriage and subsequent murder of Alice Smith. So at the beginning, Alice Smith was the one who was staying in the boarding house. Mm-hmm. So that was after Bessie. Though there was only a year between the marriages and deaths of Alice and Margaret, who are at the beginning of the story, George still managed to squeeze in another marriage between them.
Jeez.
He married another woman named Alice, so he had back-to-back Alices.
I guess keeping the name straight there.
Right.
Yeah.
Her name was Alice Reed, and he named her under the alias Charles Oliver James. So in total, Smith entered into 7 bigamous marriages between 1908 and 1914. And in most of these cases,
busy.
He's busy. That is that Capricorn organization. Okay. Yes. Spreadsheets. Keeping that shit straight. Okay. His books were probably pristine.
Yeah.
In most cases, he stole and disposed of his wife's possessions before he disappeared. Okay. Sure. Upon discovering his multiple aliases and marriages, George Joseph Smith was charged with bigamy and the murders of Alice and Margaret. And upon learning that Bessie had also been married to George and died similarly, the Home Office pathologist Bernard Spilsbury, I think he's actually a sir. I'm doing him a disservice. I think he was knighted. But Bernard Spilsbury was tasked with exhuming all 3 bodies to determine whether they drowned, and if this was the case, whether they were drowned by force. I also love the idea of like an old-timey pathologist. Like pathology seems like such a modern, Spilsbury. Trying to determine how exactly the women died proved to be challenging.
That's a show I would watch.
Yes.
Old-timey pathologists?
Yes.
Yeah.
Me too. Although, okay, we'll get there.
Not like documentary style, but like a show,
like
right?
a show.
Like they solve crimes.
Yes, I love that.
All right.
Did you ever watch The Alienist?
No, but I know.
I tried to watch it because I liked the book a lot. It's that Caleb Carr or whatever.
Yeah.
And
I
I
didn't
just
read the book.
couldn't get into the show.
Same for Chris. Exact.
I didn't read the book, but I liked the show, so maybe that's what it is. I didn't have expectations.
There you go.
So trying to determine exactly how the women died proved to be challenging. There were very few marks on any of the bodies, and it was determined that each died quickly, almost as if by stroke or something similar. So it happened so fast that they were like, how? And there wasn't really anything that would point to a struggle. Like there wasn't water everywhere, their bodies weren't all bruised up. So they're like, how? They considered that the women were poisoned, but they quickly ruled that out. The tubs in question were each 5 feet or less in length, and all of the women were taller than that. Bessie, for instance, was 5'7". So she was a tall woman. Initially, he thought that she would have had to have her head pushed underwater, but if that were the case, there would have almost certainly have been signs of a struggle, which there wasn't. When he looked at how Bessie was found with her head underwater and her legs sticking straight up, he theorized that perhaps George had approached his wife in the tub, took her by surprise, grabbing her ankles, and dragged her under suddenly. The sudden flood of water into her nose and throat might have caused shock and sudden loss of consciousness.
Oh.
Yes. So that would have explained,
that's terrifying.
Yeah, that there weren't very many injuries on the body because it would have happened so quickly.
Oh,
could also explain why he was looking for a certain size a tub.
Yeah, had to examine the tub.
Yeah.
to test this theory, this
Oh
is
my God, I don't.
fucking wild, you
No.
guys. This is wild. Okay, so to test this theory, D.I. Neal hired several experienced female divers of the same size and build as the victims.
I don't like this.
He tried to just thinking about this detective being like, well, he
Let's
tried
test it out.
to push them underwater by force, but there would be inevitable signs of struggle. Neal then, this is so fucked up.
Without telling him, probably.
Unexpectedly pulled the feet of one of the divers and her head glided underwater before she knew what happened. Suddenly, Neal saw that the woman was no longer moving. He quickly pulled her out of the tub, and it took him and a doctor over half an hour to revive her.
Oh my God.
They were like, I don't know, let's just try it.
It looks like it works.
I mean, true. They figured it
Scientific
out.
method.
Science. That's science, bitch. That's how it works.
I feel
like you shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Nope.
feels aggressive.
No.
It's yes.
Feels
You
like somebody
shouldn't-
should have been sued.
There should
Yeah.
be some kind of safeties in, safety measures happening here.
HR.
OSHA would not stand for
Would
that
not
kind
allow
of thing.
it.
No.
No. Paperwork would need to be signed before we go into this
Workers'
agreement
comp.
with the
Yeah.
cops.
Yep.
When she came to, she related that the only thing she remembered was the rush of water before she lost consciousnness. So Spilbury's theory was correct that like if you do it quickly enough,
just
they
don't
can
want
lose
that
consciousness
to
and then
have
you
had
just
to be.
yeah, you shouldn't have to be unconscious for 30 minutes. But yeah, I mean, they lose consciousness and then if you just leave them under the water, they will drown.
Yikes.
So George Joseph Smith was arrested on February 15th, 1915, and formally charged on March 23rd, 1915, with the murders of Bessie Williams, Alice Smith, and Margaret Lloyd. George's trial began on June 22nd. Per English law at the time, he could only be tried for one murder, and thus he was tried for the first one, that of Bessie Mundy. Because of this, the prosecution insisted that the evidence collected from the murders of Alice Smith, née Burnham, and Margaret Lofty was allowed to be used to establish a pattern of criminal behavior, thus setting a precedent in criminal law, despite the protestations of Smith's defense attorneys. So this was the first time that they were like, look, if you won't let us try him for all three, then you have to let us enter into evidence that like he did this shit. He did this shit again, right?
Look at how many times he's doing this shit.
Not an accident.
This is like
Three wives?
pattern of behavior here.
Three wives in a bathtub? I don't
Yeah.
think so. It took the jury about 20 minutes
Yeah.
on July 1st to find him guilty. He was then sentenced to death and he was hanged on August 13th, 1915. He denied his crimes right until the end.
What a fucking
Wow.
dum-dum.
What an
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah.
Wow.
I hate him.
Yeah.
Hate him.
He is a real piece of shit.
Yeah. Garbage.
7 marriages in like
Jesus.
6 years. That sounds
Aren't you exhausted?
exhausting.
Aren't you tired? Tie.
Yeah.
I can't do
I had a
it.
busy day at work today and I can't. Like,
I don't think I've met 7 new people in 6 years. I'm trying to think.
Well, we had 2 years that didn't count.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
Yeah, those don't count.
But I'm like, even meeting a
Yeah.
person.
I mean, also, listen, I don't think I'm a charmless person, but I don't think I could convince that many men to marry me that quickly.
I think if you did turn the charm on.
if I tried hard enough.
If you tried hard enough.
All right.
I feel like you're just,
Am I selling myself short here?
I just feel like you're not, with that kind of attitude,
You're not trying,
you're
yeah.
never going to have 7 husbands.
You're right. I'm
And,
sorry. I should.
Put some effort
That
into
is the
it.
goal.
Keegan, get some effort into it, all right? Like, I'm really, the lackluster energy that you're
I
bringing to
want
I'm
this.
working on
the
it.
feather boa robe. And I want a cigarette holder.
Yes.
I want,
I want the
all
shoes
of
that
it.
match with like
I'm
little
sorry,
Yes.
officer. I don't know what happened.
the
I'm
last
just a
thing
little old lady.
It is so
just a
awesome.
helpless little
Yeah.
lady. Oh. I'm getting the
I'm getting the vapors.
Ooh,
Get my salts.
I'm
What
gonna
do you,
pass out.
exactly. And you fluff it out to
Yeah.
make sure the train. Well, what are you guys watching this week?
The new season of Sister Wives.
Oh,
Wow.
Sister Wives is back. And man,
What's,
what a
what's
time.
The tea.
The tension in the Brown family. Things are going off. Christine has left. Janelle is on the verge of leaving. Robin won't stop crying. All of Cody's kids hate him. It is insane over here.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
And I am now on Sister Wives TikTok.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
It is a wild time. It is a wild time. One of Cody's kids has a YouTube channel where she like watches old episodes and spills all the tea. It is amazing. Oh man, for that show has been on for like 20 years. This is incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible development. I love that for these ladies. They are getting out.
I did see a TikTok about somebody saying like that they were disappointed in the series The Ultimatum, and for Netflix to bring it back, she was like, what you need to do is get these like 40-year-old women who've been dating this motherfucking guy that won't get, like, we don't want an ultimatum between 24-year-olds.
Yeah, like, I don't care about you.
No, you got to get that 40-year-old who's like, we've been dating for 15 years, Mark.
Fed up.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
I would have watched that. You know how fucking brutal that shit would be?
The way. I would watch the shit out of that.
Even if you are not a fan of Sister Wives, you need to watch some quick recaps and then just watch like last season and this season, because this, like, the episodes aren't even amazing, but just like watching Christine like laughing, like Cody is losing his fucking mind because he's like lost control of the family, and Christine is sitting across from him at lunch, like basically laughing in his face. It is not quite, but she's like, "Are you still angry? Really? Why?" Like, it's so like
very baiting.
Yes. Like, oh, you really need to come to a better place.
That's so nice.
And then she like smash cut to her interview, and she's like, "I'm so happy to be out of that marriage."
Yes. Well, I am almost done with season 3 of Fargo. This one's the Ewan McGregor season. He plays
drama.
He plays twins.
Oh.
And the bad guy is one of the most terrifying, disgusting villains I've ever seen. Like, I thought Billy Bob Thornton was the scariest.
I'm about to watch this show. I gotta.
Dude, the acting in it and the cast, I was like, oh, that's that person. Oh, that's that person. So this season also has Carrie Coon in it, who's incredible.
Yeah. In everything.
So good.
Yeah.
So
Treasure.
yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
Love
Season 3, I'm still in it, still giving it a high thumbs up.
Awesome.
Nice. Just started watching Ray Donovan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we finished season 1. I like it. It's just exactly right.
I like Liev.
Oh my God, I fucking love him.
Yeah,
I have the biggest crush on Liev ever.
Yeah.
Truly.
There we go. We'll have to do like anti-heroes again or something like that, so we can put them on the list.
He is definitely an anti-hero.
Really? I don't know anything about Ray Donovan.
So like, he's a fixer, like, but like criminal fixer.
Well,
like,
we could do fixers and
Hollywood.
do him and do Kerry Washington and Scandal.
Oh yeah.
I didn't watch Scandal, but I get the picture. You know.
Well, hey, if you guys have something we should watch, if you have a terrible date story, if you just want to reach out and say hello, or want to join our Patreon for great bonus content, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstatepodcast.com, and we love you so much.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.